Hi, I'm Marianne Bonetti, and today I'm going to talk to you about planting a fall container, but I've got some money-saving tips for you. Now, first of all, you go to the nursery, you go to the garden center, make it simple. You have a container, pick out just 3 different fall plants, but 3 different forms or textures. For example, this is a Rudbeckia or Echinacea or Chrysanthemum. It doesn't matter what kind of fall daisy type flower it is, a cone flower. The point is it has these roundy flowers, this very rounded upright shape. Because this is very rounded, it's going to look great when you pick out the next plant, which is an opposite texture, something spiky. Now this could be an ornamental grass, it could be a phormium, it can be a flax, but something spiky of a different texture in the same warm colors for this fall container. And then finally, your third plant is a totally different texture. Again, the foliage counts more than the flowers. Rich caramel color. This is a heuchera. Heucheras look good all year round. Perfect for a container that you want to be looking good all winter. It has kind of a scalloped or roughly leaf, and it's lower. So 3 different types of plants. This is going to be the spiller. This is going to be the thriller, or the big main spiky plant, and the filler, the round flowers that fill in. Now, here's another tip. Here's my container I'm going to be using, and you can see this container has a good drainage hole. When you're potting up plants, you need great drainage holes, but I'm using this. This is a coffee filter. I'm going to place this coffee filter right over the drainage hole before I add the potting soil. That is to keep the roots from clogging that drainage hole, and also so I don't lose all my potting soil. So, coffee filter in place. Now I'm adding my potting soil, and I'll tell you a money-saving tip. I reuse my potting soil. Yep, this potting soil had a whole bunch of summer annuals in it. I emptied it all out of the pots into a wheelbarrow, and I went through, I pulled out the roots from the summer annuals and made sure the potting soil was relatively loose, loosened it all up, and now I'm reusing it from my fall containers. You can only do this if you fertilize. So let's get in this roundy, flowery plant, this Rudbeckia first. Now look how hard it's come out of the pot. What I want to do in that is you've got to massage or squeeze that pot, and that will allow it to slide out a lot easier. So many roots. I take the side of my trowel here because it's got ridges in it, and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to slice into that root ball. Turn the plant over, slice into that root ball. Turn the plant, slice into the root ball. Now I soaked these plants the night before so that the root ball will be nice and moist. It's still kind of dry, so I'm going to make sure I water well. You could even take your fingers and rough up those roots a little bit more before you place them in the container. Put that towards the back. Here's another tip. Plants have a front and a back to them. These are a little bit shorter flowers. It looks better if it's facing this way. Rather than just sticking the plant in, I might face it this way with not as many flowers. You want to place the plant in the direction that it was leaning at the nursery when it was trying to reach the light. So that's about right. Now we add our thriller. This one's going to slide out a lot easier. See, less roots, it's not as compact. I don't need to cut those roots, just loosen them up a little bit with my fingers. Stick this more towards the back. Now most containers you don't look at all around the edges, you look at just in one direction. So this is the front of the container, which means when my third plant goes in, the heuchera, that slides out quite nicely as well. Just those roots are very easy to loosen up. I'll put that in the front. Now I'm going to add some more potting soil, making sure that all these plants are at the, about the same height in here. And this is the point where I'm going to do something very important, and that is to fertilize. Especially if I reuse potting soil, I want to make sure that I add fertilizer to the old potting soil. So this is a slow release plant food. This is Osmocote. And a pot this size, you want to use about a capful of the Osmocote. Actually, it has this little, I can take off the whole top, so I can easily pour 1 capful of fertilizer. Now this I'm going to spread throughout the container. So I'll spread this all around in amongst these plants. And now cap it off with a little bit more potting soil. You just want to make sure that this slow release plant food is worked into the top 2 to 3 inches of potting soil. And now let's add the fun stuff, things you can't kill. These are just branches from a maple tree, a little bit of spray painted orange there for the autumn season. And here's something that's really fun to do. These are cut stems of a sedum plant called Sedum Autumn Joy. And I cut them right off of my perennial growing out in the garden. And I'm going to just take off the lower leaves, just like that. The lower leaves, because I'm going to be poking this bare stem right into the ground, the soft soil of my container garden. This gives me an instant bit of color and height, and it fills in really well. And the bonus, these will probably root in this moist potting soil. So I'll have new Sedum Autumn Joy plants at the end of the year. Okay, all I need to do is water in the plants well, keep this container moist, and I'm going to have fall and into the winter color with rich, warm tones. Yep. This has been Mary Ann Benetti with Easy Answers for Great Gardens.